get a massage, and you're going to go with me. Well, at least a part of it. It was every Monday since last March 10th. I was going in for massage and chiropractic and all this stuff because a 90-year-old woman hit me when I was in the parking lot of another doctor's office. Since then, my life has pretty much sucked. Hey, who are you? Bri, hi! I'm glad you're here because I was just going to talk about some stuff about what I sent you. And it's hard for me to see because I'm driving and, I got to be safe. So, I was speaking to another YouTuber. We're going to use this for mental health, sort of, for mine. I was speaking to another YouTuber this weekend, and I'm compiling a book of my experiences with, mental health issues, not just my own, but with some of my kids as well. Most of my kids are adopted. And my thing's all screwed up here, and if my camera falls, that's gonna suck. And believe it or not, motorcycles and mental health are like hand in hand. You look at anyone on a bike, I tell you they got an issue. You look at anyone in a car, and I'm telling you they got an issue. They just don't really know how to deal with it the way, us really way cool rad bikers do. That dude right there walking down the street, he's got an issue. Everyone does. So why is there such a freaking stigma? That's what bothers me the most. And I told my friend, I said, one of the hardest things for me was when I was dealing with something and I wasn't really sure what it was. It wasn't what they told me it was. I thought I had bipolar disorder too. And I had a blog for a long time. Every other blog that I looked at, people were whining. And I got sick of hearing whining. Long story short, I started a blog years ago. Wow, before I was even diagnosed, before I even knew what was happening. On MySpace, that's how long ago this was. People were looking at me like, snap out of it. Just stop it. That's not the advice you give someone that's having trouble. And it really pissed me off. Finally, some events happened, and whenever I get home, I'll link back to that blog that tells you about the night I ended up, the morning I woke up in a psych ward, and I had to see a therapist to be able to get out of that place. Of course, they had to take me to the worst one in the area. Anyway, I got off my point, but I know a lot of you that watch me a lot are thinking, combustion process, that's right. If we could snap out of it, we would. Who wants to live like this? Nobody does. They misdiagnosed me and they put me on antipsychotics because they thought I had bipolar disorder. This was back in 2008 when doctors were jumping ship because they didn't know what the medical industry was. Come on. They're all a little off in their own way, except for you, doctor. I love you. You're perfect because you took care of me. And I know you're subscribed to my channel, so can this count as therapy? Do I have to pay a copay? Anyway, I was on these antipsychotics that, for one, they took away everything in my life. They took away my creativity. I couldn't write anymore. They took away just wanting to look out of the window. They weren't right, for one. I'm sure that they have great use for people that really need them. But for me, they almost killed me. And we suffered through that for a long time. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you something I probably shouldn't tell you, but it's me, and I do that all the time. I tell you stuff I shouldn't tell you. In my master bedroom ceiling that night, I don't know if I told you this or not, because I can't remember. Go ahead. You're welcome. Now get out there. There's a bullet hole in the ceiling. That's how the end of the rope I was. I couldn't read that because I'm trying to be safe and I had to start going again, but I will when I get home. Anyway, I don't know where I was, but we'll get back there sometime. See, this is the effect those antipsychotics had on me. And I really think because I wasn't as educated on mental health issues as I should have been, I allowed them to diagnose me with something I had no idea was incorrect. I'm a research freak. But when you're in that state of mind, sometimes you reach or you accept anything that will give you relief. I was like, okay, I know what my demons are, so now I can fight them. No, I was fighting someone else's demons called Big Pharma. They put me on medications that, like I said, destroyed me. When I was finally correctly diagnosed with CPTSD, and those of you that don't know how CPTSD generally happens, look it up. I'm not going to put it on this video. Oh my gosh, that guy's an idiot. He's going to kill us all. But I was diagnosed with CPTSD. They got me off of all the antipsychotics, which was great. My creativity started to come back. My personality started to come back. But I was left with permanent side effects because of that. You know, this is dangerous stuff. This isn't like taking an aspirin. These are major mind-altering medications that do great damage. Okay, now I had a point. Now I wish I could read because you guys could remind me where I... Oh, yes, okay. So I was talking to my friend who's really awesome. I don't want to link him on this video unless he gives me permission. But I want to do a vlog with him. Damn these notifications. I want to do a vlog with him about this because I told him I had a difficult time with, because of my appearance and because of my education and because of my facade, I had a difficult time getting people to listen to me when I was hurting. You look at my son, Joshua. Most of you have heard of Joshua, who is homeless. We got him when he was still like gooey and wet. My husband cut the cord, and the minute they put him in my hand, I knew that there was a problem. I had had other babies. I knew there was a problem. But if you look at him now, here he is. He's homeless. People would look at him and say, he has a mental health issue. For me, people would say, you're an idiot. You're lazy. All you do is think about yourself. Why don't you get up and do something? Do you think you know how to, put gasoline in the car? Things like that. And it was difficult because the pain inside of me was so bad. Oh my gosh. You guys better witness this. If one of these wackos hits me, I'm gonna come unfreaking done. It's a brand new car, less than 500 miles on it. They're driving like it's NASCAR or something. Good Lord. Oh, Bri, I hope I didn't overload you on all that information I sent to you. I got to looking at it and I thought, I wasn't sure what to send, so I just sent a lot. Sorry. But people don't understand, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's a chemical imbalance in your brain most of the time. How can you control a chemical imbalance in your brain? What I did, I self-medicated. I'm not a drinker. I started drinking. Just like my dad did. I started drinking. Not a lot, not enough to go to like AA or having to go to any sort of a program, because truthfully, I really don't care for alcohol that much. And at that time, marijuana was illegal in Oregon. And when it became legal, I still didn't do much. Mainly what I did was to get me off of this other medication that doctors had me on, and it worked. So I'm a huge advocate for that reason. Homeless camp, these make me absolutely livid, because I know my son's in one of them. Anyway, I'm not your typical face of quote unquote mental illness or CPTSD. I'm not a soldier, not in how do I say this? Not in a conflict between countries. I wasn't in the military. A soldier, yeah. I think a lot of us are soldiers. We're fighting fights that no one sees. They're not imaginary, guys, and they will destroy our lives and those around us if we're not vigilant. And part of that vigilance is, in my opinion, if you see someone hurting, acknowledge that what is real, because it's their reality. Whether you think it's reality or not, it's their reality. And to feel alone, especially in this world today, is one of the worst feelings a person could ever go through. Okay, what am I going to change Ryan's here? Not now. Okay. Neck fused. I don't know if you saw that or not. It makes it really hard to turn and look. What was I saying? This is my mind. I think I was talking about if you see someone, what you can do for them. Acknowledge them. It's their reality. You don't have the right to say they're making this up. Well, sometimes you do, because I have a daughter like that. She makes up everything, but she is very mentally ill as well. And that's hard. I was reading, and I published on my Facebook. I don't know if you're on my Facebook or not. Bri, send me your information if you want to. I don't know if you're on Facebook or not. I published something the other day. About 12, 15 years ago. And this goes to helping people and being aware, even knowing that they have a mental issue. I found this when I was going through my blog posts, that for some reason I can't get to the public section of the blog. I can only get to the owner's section. Came across this post where my kid's dad had came home from church, and he called a meeting. Well, in my family, there were dreaded words with so many kids. There were a lot of kids in that house. Family meeting or the office, that would bring fear and dread into everything living in that house. He came home from church. I didn't go. I haven't been to church in years, and I probably never will again. I'm so Christian, I just, no. He came home from church, and he called a family meeting, and the kids upstairs were on their cell phones calling down to the kids, 2 floors down, saying, "You've got to get up here, somebody's in trouble." So he sat All the kids got up there, and I could see the fear on every one of them. Heck, I was scared. And he took a chair and he pulled it in front of the fireplace, which is generally, we had a way of doing things when all the kids were involved and there was an instigator, usually my oldest son or my oldest daughter. Or if, just, why am I even going into that? Chair in front of the fireplace. My husband pulled up a chair. Everyone was confused because that meant no one really knew what was going on. I saw them looking around, and there was real panic in that house. And he started talking about the kids being disrespectful, about the kids being rude, about the kids, being kids. It still wasn't, you still have a responsibility to bring up kids to be good citizens. We failed miserably in that with several of them. Not helping your mom. She's doing this for you. You guys are leaving stuff everywhere. You're throwing cherry tomatoes around the house. You're being idiots. Then this is where he switched. He said there is one kid in this house, one person in this house that is the conflict for most everything that happens under this roof. This person is the one that causes a lot of the strife and a lot of the underlying turmoil in the home. And I want to see which one of you kids has the guts to tell me who it is, because you all know. One by one, well, at first they just looked around, and then somebody raised their hand and pointed. Another raised their hand, pointed to the same person. And I'm watching my kids because I'm still not really knowing what's happening. And I see one of my kids drop their head and put his hand up, and he said, "It's me. I'm the problem." It was my son with autism. That's all we knew that he had at the time. And for the record, I'm putting this in here because I'm being slandered, and I have something to say to a couple of people. The child was not abused, okay? You don't create schizophrenia, you don't create autism, and you don't create bipolar disorder. So just shut your mouth before you end up in front of a judge. There, that goes for the two of you, okay? Sorry, guys. I got a little carried away there. Just have a little cease and desist demand. Joshua held his hand up, and it broke my heart because he was the one that was the most severely affected with a mental disorder that we knew at that time. Although we didn't know the extent, we didn't know the bipolar, we didn't know the schizophrenia, and I'm in the wrong lane. And then their dad went on to talk about the way he sees them look at him. That he was the only one brave enough to say he was the cause of the problem, when in fact they were all the cause of problems. But here my son, that has been officially diagnosed with autism and several other very dangerous disorders at that point, I'm not going to go into, raised his hand because he knew he was the problem. And his dad ripped into the other kids. Here's this boy that has autism. He can't help it. There's some other things happening with him. He can't help it. Yet I see the way you look at him with malice and contempt.